Hey guys, welcome back to this APIs walkthrough. Today I will try to log HTTP traces while requesting an API. So let's start with the Without project as usual. The first thing I would do to log HTTP traces is using a library dedicated to that. I have in mind HTTP tracer, which does that perfectly. So let's try to install it. Okay, with that in place, I would open the MAUI program, and there I will add some new refit settings. Okay, with an HTTP message handler factory, HTTP message handler factory with HTTP tracer handler. Okay, that one. And let's set some options like the verbosity. Yeah, let's log it all. We'll do the same for the other API. That one. And we should be good to go. Okay, so here what I did is just providing an HTTP tracer handler so that when the request passes through the handler will log all HTTP traces in the output of Visual Studio. So I should have it all. Okay. Okay, we get our buttons. Let's see the output to see if we actually get some HTTP traces. Yeah, we got it. So that was the response. We should have the request somewhere there. So here is our request sent to the backend, and we should see the response somewhere there with all the headers and the body. So that was for the Without API, the project. So now let's see how to do that with the With API, the project. So let's jump to it. With API, the project, we don't have to install anything else. It's just provided by default. So a way to do that, to activate HTTP traces, would be as usual. I mean, you have the choice to activate it by design with attributes, by registration with fluent options, or request with fluent options too. So let's do it by design. I would head to my StarCellar API, and there I would activate it at the interface level. Let's log. And that's all. I mean, there, I just say that I want to log it all everywhere, every request of StarCellar API. So let's see that. Okay, so we got our buttons. Let's see the output. We should see the same HTTP traces there. We've got our response and the request somewhere there. So with just a natural decoration by design, asked APIzer to activate logging of HTTP traces, but we could do more. I mean, adjusting login settings. So let's see that. With the attributes, but also with the Fluent registration flavor, you can set 3 parameters when activating logging. You can set the HTTP tracer mode, which would be everything. I mean, really everything, log it all. Or maybe log the HTTP traces only in case of an exception, or exception and errors. That's your call. Then you may provide traffic verbosity. It's all about which part of the HTTP trace you want. It could be the bodies, the headers, the cookies, maybe some kind of composition of that. And finally, you can provide what for you is different log levels. I mean, the low one, the medium one, and the high one, because APIs will log it all as you asked before with the settings you provided, but we'll use the low, the medium, and the high log levels. So by default, it would be trace, information, and critical, but you can adjust that too. Here in that example, it is exactly the same that we just did, just a log attribute without any parameters. The difference here is that is decorating the assembly level. So it's telling Apizr to log it all for every API in the assembly, except for this API, because it has its own logging settings, as you can see there, and except for this request, for the same reasons, it has its own log attribute with its own settings. We could see that we can do the same thing with the CRUD API flavor. We could say that I want to log it all, but for the redo CRUD request, we'll get that settings about logging, and for the read one, it would be another setting. Here is just about the header redacting options. You can provide redacting options by providing the header key you want to redact so that your traces would be privacy compliant. In this example, the value is replaced by just a star. Okay, that was a short one, but stay tuned for the next one.